It's so peaceful here. It's hard to believe that it's just a stone's throw to the town centre. This is the walks in Loughrea, County Galway, and it's a beautiful promenade just at the back of Main Street. It's very easy accessed. It's accessible to everybody. It can be used by people using buggies or wheelchairs, and it's an area in Loughrea that we are very proud of. This is probably everybody's favourite tree. We're guessing it's the oldest tree in town, and it's quite a character because if you look around the other side, the tree actually has its own face. This is the Walks River, and it's of vital importance to the Loughrea lake fishery. From November to March each year, the trout come up from the lake to breed here in the river. And then when the eggs are hatched, the baby trout are fingerlings. They use this river as a nursery to grow until they're big enough to go back into the lake. But the stream is actually much more than this. It's a man-made stream. In fact, it's the only still functioning medieval moat in Ireland. And how did that come about? Well, the town of Loughrea was formed in 1236 by the Anglo-Norman knight Richard de Burgo. So if you could try and imagine what the Normans would have seen when they came to this location, why would they set up a town here? Well, the town was a good location in that it was a gateway to Connacht, but also you had the lake, Loughrea Lake, which provided a natural fortification to one side of the town. You also had a river coming out of the lake on the east side, which flowed down along here. So if you just imagine, the lake is here, there's a natural river here, and then what he did was he built a channel about 800 metres in length around this side to form a ring of water around the town. This moat has been functioning since the mid-1200s, but it still flows today and still delimits the town centre as it did in medieval times. It's not exactly known when the walkway was put in place, but we do know that it was in existence by 1791. There's a town map of the state, and on it it's named as the Clanrickard Walk and River. So it was probably laid down someplace in the mid to late 1700s. And Clanrickard, who was the landlord of the time, he was really following a trend where it was fashionable to put in these natural-looking parkways where the gentry of the day could take the air. So what they would have done was they would have narrowed the moat, they would have had a stone lining from the riverbed up to the top of the bank, and these walls, as we see them, would probably have been built at this time. So over the years, the walls here, all the masonry elements, the bridges, the stone lining, they've just fallen into a horrific state of disrepair, no maintenance, and as you can see, a lot of vegetative growth and ivy damaging the actual structures. So in 2017, Galway County Council commissioned a conservation plan for this area, specifically to address restoring the masonry elements. And when that plan was complete, a number of people came together locally to set up a committee, really to see if funding could be got to do the work and to ensure that the work was done in an appropriate way. So the Walks Project Committee was set up, and we set about doing funding applications. We got funding under a scheme known as the Outdoor Recreation Infrastructure Scheme. Now, this is a scheme which is funded by the Department of Community and Rural Affairs, and it's administered by Galway County Council. It's a 5-year programme overall. To date, we've year 1 work done, year 2 work done. The 3rd phase is due to start this year, and then all going well, 2 more phases of work to complete the works. Under phase 1 of the conservation work, we restored, repaired, conserved almost 100 metres of wall. The 2nd phase of works then, which happened last year in 2020, all of the stone bridges were repaired, a few sections of stone lining, and site works carried out to inform this year's work. It's a tricky enough project. There's a lot of considerations, environmental, ecological, archaeological, and one which restricts us quite a lot is that because due to fishery legislation, in-stream works can only be carried out during the months of July, August, September and October. So with conservation, we have to be mindful of a number of things. In the first instance, it's so important that we get conservation contractors who are experienced in this type of work. It's not just about throwing up a stone wall with cement. It's conservation, it's building, it's use of lime. And lime is hugely important in conservation work. Lime would have been used back in the day before people had cement. And nowadays lime is used in conservation for a number of reasons. Firstly, it allows stone to breathe. So the moisture has to go in and out. If you use cement, the moisture can't get out through the joints and it'll eventually wear down and decay the stone. Secondly, and very important for near water, lime allows great flexibility. So it allows a bit of movement, whereas with cement, the freeze-thaw action with cement, if water gets into the cracks and they expand and then they contract and it cracks, then with cement you have just a crack, whereas with lime will actually self-heal, it'll close itself up again. And the other thing that I think is interesting to note, if you look at the walls here, they were only repaired 2 years ago, and already the type of growth that you would want on them, like all those little plants that support biodiversity, they grow back, whereas if that had been done with cement, they wouldn't grow back. The other thing that's really important is that the wall is maintained. And if you can see here, already there's little spots of ivy coming through. And Loughrea Anglers Association, who've been very active in the project here and who manage the fishery, they've undertaken to remove the damaging growth off the walls as part of their annual river maintenance programme. So maintenance is really important, that in 50 years' time there isn't a group doing the same thing as we did. We're very lucky in Loughrea to have this unique historic walkway in the heart of our town. It's a place where the past is very much present, and through the repair work and the conservation work, we hope that this place will be in good shape for future generations.